Hey there, my fellow hearth tenders, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Frostlands, Episode 21, Extra Fuel. I know I'm stacking what was already cured with what wasn't, resetting some of its progress timers, but it's fine. I'm not frozen enough to need leather clothing like right this minute. Hammer. Let's have you smash. So I would need about 40 pieces of this, and I have 9. I have almost half a plate's worth, or half an ingot's worth of silver. Not plate, ingot. And you need 2 ingots for a plate, so not quite there yet. Alright. But it's a start for silver. It's not bad. Let's go ahead and replace some of the tools that I hucked. So we did a shovel and an axe. And for the search for bony soil, I'm definitely going to want a shovel at least. Question for you guys. How to get the beeswax? Search for more hives. Greenhouse the hive I found. Or sieve bony soil. Well, sieving bony soil won't get me the beeswax, but it will get me the candles. Same diff. So, there it is. How do you want me to do it? And as far as the sieve goes... Oh, why is it so hard to search for? Because of all the stupid shields. Looks like sieving bony soil is going to be the answer. S-I-E-V-E, because I was spelling wrong. So making one of these is not cheap. But I might not have an alternative, given the lack of bees. Thought it was called a pan? Oh, there is the wooden pan, yes. Pan. Thank you. That's different. The sieve. Okay. So I need a knife and a log. I happen to have one. And much cheaper. Okay, cool. So sieve bony soil. Well, I don't need the pan on me now. Let's look for structures that could be ruins. Sometimes it's easier just to go on foot. What time is it though? It's dark out. Just about, yeah. I don't think it's reasonable to do it tonight. The sieve was used for paper, yes, true. That's to make papyrus. Alright, let's see. So the structures I live at, you can see here pretty clearly. They stand out. So that's more or less what we're looking for. Panning around. Like, that's probably a big tree. They stand out a little bit more in gravel fields, because there isn't the bushes and trees and terrain that can obscure them. So what I could do is I can run around just like tomorrow looking for them. In the meantime, I don't think it would be unreasonable for me to prep some ingots, prep some plates. So that, so here's the recipe for the lantern, again. And the one I'm going to be using is this one. So I have 4 clear quartz. Actually, I think I have 5. A candle and a copper plate. And then this produces a light level of 18. Torches, for reference, are 14, and these are like 9. Oil lamps are barely light enough to stop monster spawning. And the lanterns don't go out when you go underwater or anything like that. So that's one of the reasons why I like them over other light sources. Is if I'm running around and I dip my foot in the water, I'm not like completely unable all of a sudden to, you know, to traverse the terrain because of because they went out. Okay. Red meat stew with boiled red wine caps. Sounds lovely. Let's start that up. And then, let's get this going. No. Don't take that. Alright. Next tools, I'm going to need both hammers, because one of my hammers is almost broken. So, spare hammer's nice. And tongs. I don't want to keep my hammer in my offhand until I'm ready to go. Well, actually, the tongs are going to go on the offhand. Alright, current priority now is make copper plates or a lantern. And leather will be out in 2 days. The next soaked hides are done. Just needing scraping. And then we have 2 liters of diluted borax left for a future one. So these scrape hives is put away for now because my weak tannin isn't ready. I'll probably end up... Well, alright. Let's... That's still heating. I'm trying to do too many things at once. Let's go ahead and start working on the plates before this cools down too much. So I'm going to make a copper plate. The first strike is just going to be a heavy hit, trying to flatten this thing out. And then we'll add another bar on top. Copper plates are a lot easier to make with a half hammer when the wind power does all the work for you. Because making it by hand uses up your hammer pretty good. But I think it's worth it. I don't think exploring for iron makes a lot of sense unless you know where it is without a copper... without a lantern. The material that the lantern's made out of doesn't matter. All that changes is whether... Oops, we're heavy hitting. All that changes is whether it's lined or not. So making it out of tin, copper, bronze, brass, it doesn't matter. Anything that can be made into a plate can be made into a lantern. Okay, good. I was worried that that hadn't cooked, but it did. Yeah, watch for mode reset when the hammer breaks. Exactly. That's what happened to me. Luckily, it doesn't... It's not split. That would be so much worse. And we're almost done. As you can see, there's a little bit of excess materials. They can't be recaptured or anything, but it does mean that you can make some mistakes, like 3 or so. Okay, hot plate coming through. And let's try to make one more before this cools. Oh, it's cooling quick. There might be time. If it does cool too much, what you can do is you can just heat it back up on a forge. It will, of course, use up another coal, but you can pick up your entire project like this and just stick it back in the forge and reheat it if you need. So if things cool down too much, it's not like all's lost. You just warm it back up. Alright, let's start doing directional. So if you have stuff on the edge, like this, you could just bump it back up onto the crafting surface, like that. And obviously, I have made the plates for 2 lanterns. I mean, there's other uses for plates as well, so they don't have to become lanterns. But the intention is to make potentially 2 lanterns. Having one deployed somewhere in the base, and then keeping one on me. And the one deployed in the base can also be a backup lantern in case I die and lose it. Because it sucks to lose your only lantern in like a cave or something, and then have to go back into the cave with torches, where the light level is going to be worse. And whatever killed you the first time around is going to have an easier job of it, because you have worse visibility the second time around. Not a good situation to be in. And luckily, this stayed hot enough so that I could finish. Trucking Life, thanks for the gifted sub. Okay. Cooling off the second one. Go fetch the first one. You don't want to leave them in the water forever, because eventually they'll despawn. And then in cooling them off, I can then handle them without tongs. That's why I'm dumping them in the water. Because otherwise they'd be too hot. They would, I mean, obviously they would cool down naturally over time, but it would take a while, and I'd rather just cool them down with a nice quench. Alright, that part's done. I'm hungry. So, some lovely meal to go with the successful creation of our plates. And then all that is left is for me to fetch bony soil. Awesome. What time is it in game? It's 8 p.m. Man, I'm going to be locked inside for a bit here. I'm very close to getting turnips. Trying to think if there's something reasonable for me to do at night while I wait. Not really. I mean, I could do some clay forming, but I have, at least for now, everything that I need. There's really no other molds that I feel I'm missing. Do I still need those clay bricks outside? Technically, no. I'm just going to leave them there. So the reason I did that, if you're wondering, is clear quartz. When you mine quartz, you most of the time get quartz chunks, but sometimes you get clear quartz. And clear quartz can be made directly into lanterns, whereas quartz chunks need to be fired in a bloomery to be made into glass, to be made into a lantern. I sort of assumed I was going to get enough clear quartz from mining in order to make a lantern directly from clear quartz. But I made the fire clay for a bloomery as backup, in case I didn't. But bloomeries are also how you fire iron, so I might as well... Oh yeah, there's me weak tannin. Alright, I'm gonna put this in the weak tannin. I said I was gonna turn the weak tannin into strong tannin, but I'm just gonna seal that up. This diluted borax, I'll store the remaining borax in this bucket, and then I'm gonna turn that into strong tannin. So, 2 days we'll have some leather. In 3 days we'll have some first batch needing to go into strong tannin, and in 24 hours I can turn this weak tannin into strong tannin. So, it's moving. Other things that I could do with the copper, if I'm inside tonight. I don't really think that there's much that I would want to do out of these ingots at the moment. Shears might make sense if I was lacking sticks, but I'm not really lacking sticks. Anything for the longbow? I could make... So, in terms of arrows, the copperheads are made with smithing. I don't think I'm going to want metal copperheads from our first batch of copperheads, though. Or spearheads. Just because tools are, like, I'm not rich with metal right now. So I don't want to invest in potentially tools that could be lost. I could do another pick head, yeah. Because I have a partial copper pick and no spare copper pick. That's not entirely unreasonable. I think that makes the most sense. But if I fire up my forge, I'm going to want to make more than one, probably, because I don't want to use up the coal for just the one. You know what I could do tonight is head back down to the brown coal lignite site and get more lignite while I wait. So how about I do that? I'm going to make 2 more copper picks and go grab lignite. Because the lignite's just going to be useful no matter what. And that's a good use of my time, I think, at the moment. I'm not going to be using my brown pick for anything but searching for iron at this point. So although I do have I could get anthracite with it, I think, personally, it'd be very stupid to use up your only bronze tool to do anything but trying to get iron. Or more bronze, for that matter. Because once I lose that, I'm no longer in the Bronze Age. And that would not be so good. Then I'm back in the Copper Age. Because I don't have, I don't know where more tin is. The tin node that I mined up, I mined all of it and found no more of it. It is midnight. Hi. The other weapon I could do, actually, could be a falx. A spare melee weapon. given that my current one is somewhat damaged. That is also not an entirely unreasonable thing to make with this second ingot. So, let's start with the pick head. And then I'll probably do the Falx blade. Because my current one is like 40% left on it, which is just not enough. I do have a bronze hammer, so I know I'm down to my last copper hammer, and I'm using the hell out of it. But once I do find iron, I'm not going to be blowing through my bronze hammer all that fast. Actually, the last 2 ingots wouldn't be unreasonable to make a copper hammer and another copper pick. I think those are probably the things that I would likely want most. You can almost never go wrong with picks and hammers. Because having a bunch of extra picks and hammers ensures that you're no longer ever going to go back to flint tools. Unwillingly. So maybe that's what I'll do. But I think I'd rather get the lignite, because I'm very low on fuels, and I don't really want to make charcoal. I'm like lazy, and don't want to cut down a bunch of trees for it. Which is why lignite sounds so good to me. Even though it's almost certainly more effort. Ooh, I don't know. I can have you guys decide how to get more fuel. The lignite node I found previously, there was a lot more of it left. But I ran out of time in the stream, and which is why I didn't mine up a whole lot of it. How to get more fuel? Charcoal or brown coal? Because in the middle of the night now, I could go out and cut down some trees or go mine some lignite. I don't really care. I'll let you all decide. So the spare Falx I'll leave behind. But the pick, if I'm going for brown coal, I'm going to bring. Because I'm very likely to break my pick if I get enough brown coal. The pelts. The 85% cured and 58 or 59% cured. Okay, they're curing. Alright, let's go southwest to the brown coal area. In the night, in a snowstorm. And then also as I traverse the terrain, look for potential bony soil. Because if I find any bony soil, I'm going to want to dig that up for candles. So, I'm relying on you, chat. Keeping your eyes open for ruins. Oh, these lakes. That lake froze right on over. It is currently -7. So inside my greenhouse, it's 5 degrees warmer than that, -2, but it is getting pretty cold. I'm getting shot by a Botorn. Excuse you. Serpentining. They're so rude. And I'm going to finish that poll. I'm already headed to... Oh, what the... I'm already headed to the brown coal. I've committed. Yeah, let's not put all the torches in my inventory. Good point. It is 3 in the morning, so there'll be daybreak soonish, and we can also look for bony soil once the sun's up. How beneficial is high fertility versus medium? Quite. High fertility goes up to 75% fertility, which allows you to, you know, for the thing. Oh, a Botorn. Oh, actually, there's a lot of stuff here. Because there's a portal. I'm not going to stick around skinning it because I'm outnumbered. So yeah, high fertility soil would be a great find. It's also probably, I would say, at least in my opinion, the higher fertility soils, the terra preta and the and high fertility soil, are really only useful when you intend to refertilize the soils. Because if you deplete them and not refertilize them, then what was the point? And that means having access to the necessary fertilizers. For me, because I started in the winter, or late fall, technically. It is currently November 19th in game. Rot, which would be the obvious fertilizer of choice in order to make compost, in order to make terra preta, is not something I can get a lot of. Normally, when you start in the summer, you can pick berries, and there's plenty of berries everywhere, and those berries will rot pretty quickly, and then you can compost them. But I'm having to eat everything, right? Like, nothing has gone to waste. I haven't rotted a single anything yet because of how desperate I am for calories. So, trying to get high fertility soil when you start in a season that doesn't have a lot of plenty is going to be damn near impossible. But it is possible for me to find high fertility soil, and that's almost as good as terra preta, as far as I'm concerned. And, Spurgeweed, thank you for the gifted subs. I meant to mention that sooner. So, I apologize, but thank you. I noticed, and I appreciate it. All ya tuning in, hanging out with me. So we're coming up on where I found brown coal. There's also borax, like, right underneath where I am here. And I'm out of borax, more or less. I have, like, a few ground-up chunks of it left. But I'm more or less out of borax back at the base. So grabbing borax for a future run might not be a bad idea, either. Yeah, if I ended up finding good fertilizer, if I found, so in terms of the fertilizers, let me pause the game while I'm in here. So saltpeter can refertilize your kalium, or your potassium. And saltpeter is generally found lining caves. Saltpeter is going to be hard for him to get without armor, because the layers where it typically forms are a little bit dangerous when you're naked. You also have... what is it called? The stuff that you find near salt domes. Why am I totally farting? Brain farting. But yeah, compost is obviously the easy... Potash, and yeah. So potash is super good for kalium, or permanently increase farmland max, fertility, great for plants, and that's found in kind of where in halite, where salt domes are, and that's really hard to find, right? Like, just finding that is obnoxious. Bone meal is good for your phosphates. So I've been doing bone meal. So for crops that use P or phosphate, bone meal's the best. And then compost does nitrogen. Saltpeter does a little bit of nitrogen, but not a lot. Same with bone meal, a little bit, but not a lot. Compost is just rot. It's processed rot and also ingredient for Terra Preta, which has a fertility of 80. So I would love to be able to get high fertility soils, but I don't think it's all that realistic given the season. Yeah, I was trying to think of potash, but where you grind sylvite into potash, but that can only be found in halite, and halite's hard to find. So the chance of me getting a whole bunch of that. And then in terms of it, potash replenishes 60% of your potassium. Saltpeter is 13% nitrogen and 44% potassium. Bone meal is 3% nitrogen and 30% potassium. And then compost is 40 and 8 and 8. 40 in nitrogen and 8 in the other two. So compost is kind of like refertilizer for a bit of everything. You can also leave your fields fallow and just not do it. And because I'm using medium fertility soils, in the case of using medium fertility, I can just dig up my farm plots and replace with new medium fertility soil, because medium fertility is so common. There's almost no point in using fertilizer because you just replace the soil itself. Yeah, we're getting a really good amount of lignite. I'm not going to be afraid to throw it around with this kind of excess. And it's just about daylight, so maybe what I'll do is I'll grab a stack of it, and then I'll start looking for ruins. Getting back on track. This node is great. I figured it was large because I found nuggets of brown coal all over this area. So it doesn't surprise me that there's, like, loads of it. And the advantage of brown coal over black coal is, by most measures, better, but it can only be mined up with bronze. Which is why I went for brown. Am I gonna get the borax? No. I don't want to waste daylight on anything but working towards the lantern, because that's what you guys voted on, and it's been a lot of work so far and no lantern to show for it, so I feel like I need to make more progress on that. Oh, I deleted the out. Okay, now that I've done that, find bony soil or candles. Alternatively, as I'm wandering around, I can also be listening for bees, because I would be happy. So I'm going to go northwest. It's a direction I really haven't been so far. I'm going to go northwest and listen for both bees and look for ruins. So I guess I'll update it. Or find more bees. More beers. Freudian slip? Maybe. Can you use coal for steelmaking? Yes. You can use anthracite or charcoal. You cannot use lignite. That's an ominous cave. It's probably harmless, but it looks scary. Oh, I see why it looks scary. Yeah, I'm standing on gravel near a cave like that. You know what? I have to know. What's in here? It'd be cool if I, like, found something precious. Oh, what was that? Conglomerate? No, it's shallow. Brown coal is not used for steelmaking now. But it's great on the forge. It's great for a lot of other use cases. I saw the sap. I didn't miss it. I just don't care. I don't need it yet. I'm also nowhere near home. So I'm not going to bother marking resin trees when I'm like 20-minute run from home. Well, not that long, but you get what I mean. Body temperature is dropping. I have a fix for that. Oops. Oh, I didn't set myself on fire. There we go. I'm warm enough. Oh, horsetail. It's gonna be hard to find ruins in terrain this thick. Oh, but I will find wolves. Don't think I'm being chased. I hear bees. Just making sure the wolf's not on my 6. Alright, I have enough beeswax for 2 lanterns. That's perfect. I also hear chickens. What? Oh, they're just swimming around. Well, that search was easy. Easier than I thought it would be. Pun not intended. Truly. If we do find ruins, I'm not against panning. But I got what I need. So, knowing that I'm about to get a lantern as soon as I get home, what to work on next? And I'm going to take the make a lantern or 2 off the list. Because we've done it. I don't need more than 2 for now. I don't think. I'm also running home slightly... Oh, no, I'm actually going straight over where I've already searched. Never mind. I thought I was, being smart and not backtracking directly over, but that isn't the case. Oh. That scared the hell out of me. It's just my arm. All right. Hold the torch, dude, because you freaked me out. More borax bits. I already have it marked down. Borax in this area, so I don't really need to put another map marker. That's good to find. I can make another micro batch of diluted borax wash if I want. And I'm just replenishing my flint after making fire clay, too. That's why I'm grabbing the extra flint. I have 35 of it. I have a bit. But it is annoying if you want to make, a lot of stuff out of flint all of a sudden. Like, if you're making a bunch of throwing spears or trying to make fire clay or whatever, and you're just out of flint, because searching for flint... Same with sticks. Things like sticks and flint, if you see them, pick them up, because you'll probably end up using them. And searching for them is kind of insufferable, so you might as well just be collecting them all the time, especially sticks. Anytime I'm in a forest with sticks, I make sure I'm just like scooping up every stick I find. You know, I don't have... Do I have a pro pick around here? I don't. Let's, it's an exposed rock face. Might as well just use the pro pick. Very high hematite. Decent. A bunch of other things, too. Cool. That was luck. It was just like, I haven't pro picked in a while. Maybe I should pro pick. And then the highest hematite reed I've found so far. And honestly, not too far from the base. I mean, I'm not like next to the base, but it's not an unreasonable run. Thank you for tuning in to Vintage Story Frostlands, which originally streamed live on Twitch, November 30th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Seraphs.